How to make him crave and desire you. If you want a man to really come towards you, to chase and pursue you, to have a loving, long-term, and deeply devoted relationship, and that's exactly what we're going to be talking about in this training. And if you're tired of having him leave, pull away, lose interest, not be responding, not investing into the relationship, or showing you how much he cares, then again, this is the training for you. I'm Brody Boyd, if you don't know me already, and for over 20 years combined with my wife, Antia, we've been helping thousands of successful women all over the world to get a loving, long-term, and committed relationship with a man they desire fast. So let's go ahead and start diving in. This video is going to be a little different because I'm going to be formatting this as a Q&A today. Some of the most frequently asked questions that we get around magnetic feminine polarity and magnetic feminine communication, the principles, the keystone principles that actually make a man be attracted to you and deeply feel deep feelings of love and devotion for you. These are some of the key principles. So we're going to be going into some of the questions we get that are around that. So let's go ahead and dive in. The first question I have for today, which is one we've been getting recently, which is very interesting, and it's a great question, which is it more feminine or masculine to cook for a man? So some of these questions are going to help reveal to you these secrets that we're talking about. So cooking is actually masculine. Cooking is actually masculine. Now, let me explain. If you're cooking for a man, you're technically in the masculine role because the masculine gives, just like in sex, just like in a dance, just like in fertilization between the sperm and the egg, the masculine gives, the feminine receives. So anytime you are doing something for a man, giving to him, giving him a compliment, giving him your time and attention, giving him service, acts of service, gifts, especially giving him gifts, that is all masculine behavior. So you may be saying, whoa, that sounds crazy talk. You know, my mom used to cook for my dad all the time, and traditional, you're big on traditional values, and I know women used to do more things for men in the kitchen in different areas, which they don't know. But yes, that is correct. Now, the key here is giving is masculine, feminine is receiving. However, the caveat to this is if the man, your man, has led you to give to him. So if he's asked you to make something for him, if he's asked you to cook, if he's asked you to rub his shoulders, if he's asked you to help him with his laundry or whatever things he might need help with, and it feels good to you, then you have a healthy polarity. Then you're still in the feminine and he is in the masculine. You have healthy polarized relationship, chemistry, attraction, devotion. Now, this is where the issue happens when you may be doing things for him that he didn't ask you to do. When you're doing them because you secretly want to get an outcome from him. You secretly are doing those things because you want him to like you, to love you more, to appreciate it, to want to give back to you in some way. So you're like, okay, I'm going to give first, and then hopefully he'll give to me. The problem with that is anytime, especially if you're giving to a man without him asking for something, and you're doing it from a place of trying to get an outcome from him, trying to get him to do something, whether that's giving back to you or just loving you or saying he loves you or whatever, that is very masculine behavior. That is very masculine behavior because the masculine gets outcomes. The feminine is receiving outcomes. The feminine is in the process, is receptive, is enjoying the journey, having fun, relaxing, being led, being provided for, being protected. So that would be especially masculine behavior. So now here's the key with this. You can still also offer. You say, I just love to give. I'm a giver. I love to give to men. I love to help make him happy. That's fine as well. Now, the key with that is you can ask if he actually wants that gift. So like for myself, me as a man, as a guy, I don't like receiving gifts. I've never really liked getting gifts. And I've noticed this with a lot of the women in my life throughout my life, my mom, friends. They also have issues with buying gifts for their men. For one, they don't know what to get them. So if you've ever struggled with what do I get my man for his birthday, for Christmas, for any occasion, Father's Day, my dad, whatever, it's a valid question because guys don't really like to get gifts. Guys don't like to get gifts. You know why? Because when you're giving him a gift, especially if he hasn't asked for the gift, even if it's his birthday, technically that is still you giving to him in the masculine. Unless he asked you for a gift, unless he asked, can you give me a gift for my birthday? So of course you can still, give things to him in different ways. You can still help him. You can make him happy. Now, the key here, what I want to get to is you can ask, and you could say, may I ask if you'd like me to make us something for dinner? May I ask if would you like a back rub? Of course, if this feels good to you and you're not trying to get an outcome from it, you're not trying to do that thing so that he likes you more, he loves you more, he wants to give back to you in some way. You're doing it because that's who you are. You enjoy it. You're detached from the outcome. You're committed to the process. You're enjoying the process, and you're detached from the outcome. Now, the other caveat to this is if he ever asks you to do something and you don't want to do it. So if he says, can you make me a sandwich? And you feel into yourself and you're like, you know what? Today, I don't want to make you a sandwich. I don't want to cook for you. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Whatever he asks you to do, you have to share that. You have to be true to yourself and you have to share your feeling, because if you just do what he tells you to or asks you to and it doesn't feel good to you, that's actually compliance. That's not submission. That's compliance. That's where you are doing something that you don't enjoy. Because when a man is leading you, when you're having this dance of devotion in your relationship with a healthy, polarized relationship, he's leading you for your pleasure and for his pleasure, because he's actually getting pleasure as a masculine, healthy man. He's getting pleasure by giving you pleasure, just like in sex as well. There's many studies that have been done on this. Men enjoy sex the most when they know their partner is enjoying it as well. So when he knows you're enjoying it, when he knows you're enjoying the sex, the relationship, the thing that he did for you, the date that he planned, the adventure that he took you on, he's going to naturally feel good and happy. That's how he actually gets a gift. That's how he feels given to, is when he knows he's making you happy. You've received his gift, you've received his leadership, and he feels great. So anything other than that, if you're just complying, if you're doing what he asked or requests or said, and you don't enjoy it, you need to speak up. You need to share your feelings using magnetic feminine communication that we teach you. And so that he knows how you feel about it in a respectful way, in a way that he doesn't feel blamed or criticized or attacked, because that can just start an argument and he gets defensive and it doesn't go anywhere. However, you want to speak up, because that's what the queen would do. A queen would share her feelings when she's not feeling good, when something's off. She would share that in a respectful way, and he would be able to hear that, and he would be able to adjust his request. And you say, okay, that's fine. I know you're tired right now. I can do it tonight, or could you do it maybe, later today? And you might say, yeah, that sounds fine. I'm feeling stressed right now. I'm feeling busy right now. I'm feeling sad right now. And, can we just cuddle for a little bit? And then we can start dinner, for example, for the cooking example. He says, yeah, that's great. You're like, come here, give me a hug, give me a kiss. And you guys can cuddle and you can go to the next step. So that would be an example of like a healthy polarized relationship of him making a request, you not feeling good about it, you speaking up about it, him adjusting his request, adjusting his leadership, and then you feel good about that and you accept, and you have this dance going on. And it gets natural. This may sound technical right now, but that's because we've been so trained to not be in healthy polarized relationships, to be leading with masculine communication, as a woman leading with masculine communication, or telling him what to do, or trying to lead or control him or get an outcome from him in some way, rather than following, enjoying, relaxing, receiving, and sharing your feelings when they come up, good feelings and bad feelings. So sharing appreciation, sharing upsetness, all those things as they come up. So that's a little microcosm, but hopefully that gave you some insights into how these dynamics can actually work, because it will get fun. It will get natural, because what we're doing in this process is helping you to connect to your feminine core. Every woman has a feminine core. Every man has a feminine core. When you connect to your feminine core, it's actually your most authentic, most natural self, where you don't have to do anything anymore. All you're simply doing is enjoying, receiving, and sharing your feelings, your appreciation, your thoughts, things that come up, that he can solve the problems for you, and to enjoy a happy, blissful relationship with him. And he'll be happy because you're happy, and he'll feel purpose and meaning, getting to be in his masculine core, his leadership, being able to provide and being appreciated and needed and wanted for his ability to provide, protect, and be your hero. So hope that was helpful. So the next question we had, and by the way, I'm going to do a Q&A after this as well. So go ahead and start. I see some questions are already starting to pop in. And let me see. Actually, I'm going to address some of these because they're coming up around the cooking issue. MC said, so you're saying that men are supposed to do all the cooking because it's a masculine thing to do. So you might have just tuned in after the beginning but when I explain this more, but cooking itself is not necessarily a masculine or a feminine behavior. What's masculine is giving, providing, protecting. That is masculine behavior. Receiving enjoying, sharing feelings, sharing appreciation, following his leadership, um, receiving his leadership, receiving him as a man, respecting him, honoring him, trusting. That's the feminine. So the cooking itself isn't really neither masculine or feminine. It's where is it coming from? Is it coming from you giving to him without him requesting it, and because you want to be liked and because you want to be cared for, or from him giving because he wants to take care of you, he wants to be, or he has led you and asked you to specifically do that? So I explain more of that, but I just want to give that little caveat that it's not necessarily about always the activity. It's where's the energy going? Is the energy coming from you to him? You're investing in him, you're giving him, or is it coming back to you? And here's the other thing I want to mention. Even if in the relationship, he's asking you to do things, you're happy with it, you're doing things for him, he's leading you, he's in his masculine, but then you start to notice the relationship gets out of balance where he is receiving more and you are giving more. So if you find that you're all of a sudden in the relationship, hey, I'm giving way more in this relationship, I'm investing in him way more, I'm pursuing him, I'm chasing him, I'm putting all the energy into this relationship, and he's just kind of sitting back and receiving it. He's receiving my care, he's receiving my devotion. You have a reversed polarity situation here. And that's when the attraction starts to drop. If it isn't completely gone, destroyed, and polarity is gone, and he no longer sees you as his queen. He no longer sees you as a woman that is his to protect and provide for, because you're doing that for him. You haven't inspired him to do it, or he hasn't been inspired for whatever reason, because there are men who are emotionally, mentally damaged in some ways that they're just not capable of showing care, showing devotion, being in their healthy masculine. Or it could be simply that he doesn't have that care for you. And in that case, you need to be using what we're teaching, especially use the Magnetic Feminine Polarity 90-day challenge, use Magnetic Feminine communication to share your feelings with him in the right way, to discuss these issues, and hopefully get back to a place where he's investing in you. He's pursuing you. He's protecting you. He's being the king for you. We don't want to switch that where you're the one giving constantly in the relationship, and he's just receiving. You can notice, you can feel into it, how that feels like a backwards relationship, right? That feels like now he's the princess. There was a post on Facebook the other day. This woman was posting about how it's okay to give your man the princess treatment occasionally. If you want to receive the princess treatment, give him the princess treatment. Like I said before, men don't want the princess treatment. Masculine men, healthy masculine men, they don't care about gifts. They don't care about those things that are just given to them, of you giving. He won't really value it because he doesn't really want it unless he's asked for it or told you that he values those things. Then you don't want to be giving to him in that way, because what he actually wants, what a masculine man wants, and what's going to activate him into his masculine is you being in your feminine, and you showing him the respect, the honor, inspiring him into his masculine to want to be that provider for you by feeling like he's received, by feeling like he's honored, that there's that feminine balance, masculine feminine balance in the relationship. So everything else that we talk about, because I don't have to go through the whole thing right here, but this is really good. We're opening up a little bit of a can of worms here. I'm excited to talk more about this. So Deborah said, isn't it supposed to be 50-50 in a relationship? So this is a really good question. So it depends on exactly what you mean by 50-50. 50-50 energetic investment, I'm imagining what you're talking about, where he's giving half the energy in the relationship and you're giving half the energy in the relationship. Not necessarily, not if you want a polarized relationship, because if you're having 50-50 where everything is split 50-50. So for example, I'll give you an extreme example for that. Every time you go out to eat, 50-50, we're splitting the bill right down the middle. How does that make you feel? Just think about that. Every time you go out, splitting the bill 50-50. Or every time you're planning a date, I'm going to plan half of the date, you're going to plan the other half of the date. Or every time that we're dancing, like I'm going to lead you half the time, and then the other time you're going to lead me half the time. Or every time you're having sex, it's like, well, half the time I'm going to I'm going to dominate you, and then the other time half you're going to dominate me. Which is, it can be fine to mix it up occasionally, right? We're mixing up where sometimes you may want to be a little bit more in your dominant masculine energy in the relationship, and maybe sometimes he wants to be more in his feminine. But likely what's going to happen if you go 50-50 on everything in the relationship, it's energetically 50-50, you're going to have what's called a depolarized relationship. It will turn into a relationship of friends, of roommates. Because what's the difference between friends and romantic partner? romantic partners, well, the difference is often sex, right? And sex involves an energetic exchange of masculine, feminine energy, where the man is penetrating you just physiologically, right? Where there's this masculine, feminine dynamic happening. So that's the key element, one of the key elements in a romantic relationship that's different than a friendship, right? Or a roommate situation. There's no sex involved. There's none of that exchange. There's no sperms and eggs meeting each other in a friendship or in a roommate situation. So if you transpose that out into the relationship as a whole, for there to be passion and chemistry long term, you're going to need to have a polarized relationship where he's able to be in his healthy masculine, you're able to be in your healthy feminine, where he's able to lead and plan things out for you and take care of you and give you the princess treatment and protect you, rather than you having to maybe half the time or most of the time give him the princess treatment. You're the one protecting him. You're the one looking out for him. You're the one making all the decisions. You're the one financially providing most of the things for him. So that's what we're teaching here, because relationships are complex. There's many different dynamics involved. However, one of the keys that we found, the most powerful keys to create attraction, chemistry, polarity long-term in the relationship, is masculine, feminine dynamics, masculine, feminine polarity, which is what we're teaching you, and how to be in your healthy feminine so that you can inspire a man to want to give to you. Because if you just want a 50-50 relationship, that's likely going to become depolarized at some point. It's going to become friends, or maybe it will also become just business partnerships. It's going to become something other than a romance at some point, because there's none of that juice. There's none of that, the energies meeting. So the law of polarity states that opposite energies attract. Opposite energies attract each other. So masculine energy attracts feminine energy. Feminine energy attracts masculine energy, like two poles on a magnet. And they come together. You're not going to have that attraction, the energetic attraction, if the magnets are depolarized. If you rub two magnets together long enough or leave them sitting together in a drawer, eventually they're no longer attracted to each other. Eventually, because they've just been sitting next to each other equally. They're equally. That's even like the equal sign, right? If you imagine two magnets sitting next to each other like the equal sign, they eventually become depolarized. They no longer attract to each other. That's what happens with 50-50 relationships. So hope that was helpful, Deborah. Some thoughts on that. And I know this may be a lot of new information and different ways of thinking about it, but these will be key, especially if you're not completely satisfied in your romantic life right now. These will be some of the key breakthroughs that allow you to take it to the next level by adding in this key component of activating his masculine core, activating your feminine core, and having this chemistry and this juice that is created in your relationship. All right. So that was some of the thoughts on the cooking thing. Let's get some of the other key frequently asked questions. If you have other questions, keep posting in the comments, because I'm going to start answering more of those as they come up. This is a good one. Is it okay to send him funny photos or videos occasionally? So again, the giving metaphor, the giving concept in a relationship. If you're primarily the one giving in the relationship, you're in the masculine role. If he's primarily the one receiving, he's in the feminine role. And sending funny photos, sending funny videos, that is giving. That's like giving him a gift. Like, here, look at this. Haha. That's giving him something, trying to make him feel good, which is fine if he's asked for it. If he says, send me, I love it when you send me funny things, or keep sending things like this, or keep sending me funny videos, or he's sending you funny videos and has maybe said, like, share some of your funny things or whatever. Or if you could also ask permission. You say, hey, can I send something funny I saw yesterday? So you ask him permission that he actually wants it. And that's showing respect. And that's also seeing that he's actually in that moment, you're giving him some of the leadership back. You're helping him to say, hey, yeah, like, I want you to send it to me, like, give it to me. And so he's like leading now. He's back in his masculine. So you can still offer it. You can say, hey, can I send you something funny? Or can I send you a sexy photo I took? Or can I send you this shot of my show you where I'm at right now? Or would you like to see where I'm at right now? So that way, then he can lead and say, yeah, send it over, of course. So that way you're still maintaining this polarity. So that's some of the other ways that this can show up in your relationship, in different smaller ways of this kind of giving and receiving dynamic, that you want to inspire him into his giving role and relax yourself into the receiving role more. And that's going to help him activate his hero instinct and devote for you, which is the title of this video, how to make him crave and desire you. So we kind of answer this one as well. Is it okay to initiate sex? This is a good one. So with initiating sex, yeah, if you were just to jump onto him and start having sex with him or start pulling down his pants, that's going to be masculine because that is leading. That's leading him to sex. That would be like at the dance floor. Just you're at the dance floor ready to dance and you just go over to a guy and just grab him and start dancing with him. It's very masculine. You're leading. And if, in fact, in that situation, you'd probably be leading him in the dance as well because you're wearing the pants, you've taken that role. So, however, you can still, as another metaphor, example of what we were talking about earlier, you can initiate sex by, you can ask for it. You can say, that would be a little weird. I wouldn't recommend asking for it. You can say, hey, how may we have some, like, can I ask if you want to have some sexy time? You could say something like that. What I would recommend is sharing your feelings. So you can say, may I share something with you? And he'd say, sure. And you say, like, I feel so horny right now. And just let him feel that. Let him hear your vulnerable feminine yearning, your heart and body yearning, and let him respond to it. Because now you're in the feminine. You're just sharing your open vulnerability. And now he is the masculine, can witness that, can hear that and see it. And he can be inspired and desired into that action, giving to you and saying, come here, baby, let's go. Let's go up in the bedroom, or whatever he might say, like just grab you and just maybe start making out with you. Who knows who he might do. Now, this, of course, depends on other factors in your relationship. And if you guys just had a fight, maybe it's not the best time to say that. But this could be a good way. This could be shared over text. It could also be in person. And just to share your feelings, like, I feel like I want you so bad right now. I want you inside me so bad right now, or whatever. So, but the key is the feeling. So if you can get to core of the feeling, like how are you actually feeling, which would be like desire. I feel desire. I feel horniness. I feel desire for you. I feel horniness. I feel longing for you. It's a little more romantic way to say it. Poetic way to say it. But yeah, so that'd be an example. And then let him take the initiative and let him respond in his leadership, where he's then like grabbing you, or he's taking you, or he's making like, let's meet up tonight, or I'm coming over, or whatever he might say, to let him start that process. That's how you would handle that from a healthy, polarized dynamic. This is a really good question. So hopefully you're having more questions and comments coming up from what we're talking about here, because we're talking about a lot of hot questions that we get often. So this other question is, shouldn't I be more mysterious with a man? Should I just wait only for him to send messages to me? So this is a common misconception, because it's not necessarily true. Being mysterious with a man is not necessarily going to activate any desire, any devotion from him. Because what a man wants is, he wants a feminine woman with a high sense of self-worth. That's what a man wants, a feminine woman with a high sense of self-worth. And that's not, you being mysterious is not necessarily communicating that. It's not showing really anything. It's kind of just being neutral, right? It's kind of doing nothing. Now, what actually shows him that you're a feminine woman with a high self-worth is actually that you're able to be open and vulnerable with a man. So actually, this is the paradox, right? This is the shift in this. The counterintuitive shift is that, because being a mysterious woman, you're going to feel like, I have to kind of close up. I'm going to kind of drift away. Like some people talk about, like the black cat, or like this mysterious seductress woman. I'm going to just kind of float away into the ethers. Well, he can't even really notice. He doesn't get to feel you then. Yeah, he might, if he really has a lot of care for you, be like, where is she? Like, I wonder what she's up to. Maybe he misses you. But what's actually going to make him really want you is your heart. You feeling your feminine, vulnerable heart. Because that's like, for example, let's use this example. Imagine if you sent a photo to a man and you were wearing a full-on burqa with sunglasses. So you sent your sexy photo to a man, and it's like, I'm going to be mysterious. I'm not going to show him anything of myself. I'm going to wear a burqa with sunglasses so he could literally see nothing about me. That would be like the extreme example of you being mysterious with a man, right? You're sending him a photo that literally shows him nothing. He feels nothing. He feels no attraction. He feels no desire. He feels, wow, this is odd. It's a little bland. It's very uninteresting. As opposed to if you sent him a full on nude photo. I'm not recommending this. I'm just saying, imagine the different reaction a man is going to have between those two photos, right? Burqa photo, full on nude. Burqa photo, full on nude. Which is probably going to, which photo, just hypothetically, right? We're just talking about hypotheticals here. Which photo do you feel? I want you to answer this question for yourself. Which photo do you feel is going to make the man feel more desire? Just to like a hypothetical thought experiment, right? So it's probably the nude photo, as we all know. So now, are you doing that with your heart? Are you doing that with your heart with a man? Are you with a man? Are you in a relationship with a man where you're basically putting a shield, a cover over your heart and saying, like, I don't really want to show you anything about me. I'm not going to show you my feelings. I'm especially not going to show you anything that feels vulnerable or that would bring up any feelings of discomfort for me or fear, or make me feel like I'm scared of getting hurt again. Like, I'm not going to show you any of that because I want to be mysterious. I want to be aloof. I like to call this Miss Too Cool for School. I'm going to be Miss Too Cool for School. I'm not going to show you that I actually have deep feelings of insecurity or anxiety or longing, desire, whatever. So now you're presenting the shield and he has nothing to connect with. And he's just like, okay, she's kind of nice. She's kind of, kind of fun to hang out with. I don't really feel anything though. I don't really feel any desire. Yeah, sure. I mean, I'll have sex with her. Sure, I'll stick it in and we can just, have sex every once in a while, but I don't really want to claim her as my woman or as my wife because I don't feel anything. It's just kind of bland. It's just like it's just there. So that's what happens when you're mysterious with a man is he's like, I don't really feel anything. It doesn't do anything for him, right? Maybe he make him miss you a little bit, or like, why haven't you reached out to me, or why haven't we connected? But likely, if he's not reaching out to you, he's not interested anyway. So really, it's not doing anything. So it's maybe just making you feel like you're doing something, but you're actually not. And so what's more powerful is for you to lean forward, actually, and to be vulnerable in the right way, to use magnetic feminine polarity and magnetic feminine communication in the way we teach you, so that you can actually reach out to him, get on the phone, meet in person, or have a text conversation, which is not ideal for magnetic feminine communication. You can start it with text, and we'll walk you through what to say and how to craft your messages and things like that to start it, and then what to say when you actually are on the phone with him or in person. And you're able to share your feelings. You're able to share your raw, vulnerable feelings with him in a way where he receives it. He feels respected. He feels honored, and he can feel your heart, and he can connect with your heart. And now he feels connected to you. Now he feels desire. Now he feels like received by you, and he craves you because of how you've approached him, and that you're opening. The true test of a man is how he responds to your vulnerability, because that's going to be the key thing that's going to bring him closer to you rather than making him neutral or pull away. Kind of like we talked about with the 50-50 relationships as well, that just becomes kind of neutral. There's nothing really there to make anything interesting. So that's what I would say about that. I hope that was interesting and helpful. Yeah, I'm going to start answering some questions in here, and I may weave in some of the frequently asked questions we get as well, because there's some good ones as coming up as well. So Nicole said, I'm ready for my relationship to go to another level, marriage. How do I bring this up in a feminine way? Yeah, so this is a great question. So the way you would bring that up with him is you want to start by using the things we're talking about here and being vulnerable, being open with him. So I would recommend actually having a conversation with him about this and sharing how you feel. Mostly, you don't need to bring up the M word necessarily yet, the marriage word, but you present it as a problem for him to solve. So you would say something like this, ideally on the phone or in person. May I share something with you? Sure. I feel sad and concerned. Why do you feel sad and concerned? Because we've been dating for 5 months now, and I really love our connection, and I really feel happy when I'm with you. And so you can start with some appreciation. I feel like I feel like I just, yeah, love our time together, and I'm telling myself a story that you may not want to take our relationship to the next level, or that there may be some issue or some block that's preventing you from taking the relationship to the next level, and I don't know what to do. May I have some help? Or you can say, may I ask what you think about that? And bring it up in that way. So you haven't mentioned the M word, you haven't made an ultimatum. All you've simply done is use magnetic feminine communication. And as a brief example of that, there's so many more intricacies to it. An example of using that and letting him respond to it for one. So you're doing a couple things here. You're being respectful and honoring him. You're sharing your open, feminine, vulnerable heart, and you're presenting a problem to him that he can solve. Because the masculine solves problems, the feminine shares problems. The feminine shares feelings. The feminine shares appreciation. The feminine shares a lot of things, but the masculine is solving. The masculine is gets things done and accomplishes goals and gets outcomes. So you've done a lot of things. You've put yourself into the feminine. You've moved into the feminine energy, the feminine pole through the law of polarity, and you've given him a problem that will activate ideally his masculine core. So he's going to be responding in however he's going to respond, and you can't be attached to the outcome. So having these conversations as well, you're simply sharing. So you're not trying to get him to do anything. You're not trying to lead him to suddenly propose to you. You're not trying to control him. You're not trying to guide him. You're just simply sharing yourself, and then he does with it whatever he may. And likely, because of the way you presented it and the way you had this conversation with him, which he may ask more questions or share more things, he's going to be activated to want to help and to want to talk to you about it more and see what else is there and talk about his feelings. Maybe there is a block. Maybe there's a fear that he has. Maybe there's some issue that you guys haven't resolved yet. Or maybe there's a conflict that you've had with values or beliefs of some kind that he wants to address. So something will come up, and likely you can resolve that. Likely you can talk about it. And it may be an ongoing conversation, sharing those feelings depending on what he shared. But also the other key with all this is when you step into being the queen, which will teach you being the queen so that he actually sees you as high value, that you value yourself. You have a high sense of worthiness, self-worth, and you're a feminine woman. You're in your magnetic feminine polarity. He's going to want to commit. He's going to want to claim you. His masculine has been activated. He's going to want to claim you and make you his. So all those things are going to really help. Hope that was helpful, Nicole. And somebody else had a question here. Amy said, how do I sign up for the 90-day challenge? So that's a great question. So I'm going to go ahead and share here for those who want to go deeper with this and sign up for the Magnetic Feminine 90-day challenge, or learn how we teach you how to actually use magnetic feminine communication in a way where we do it for you. We'll actually do this for you. We'll help you create the scripts, what to use with him, exactly what to say, exactly what to do. We'll do it for you. To get that, all you have to do is go to befeminine.com. befeminine.com. We made it really easy. We'll also put the link in the comments or description below. You'll be able to get our free quiz, which is the first step for that. That's going to help teach you some other core principles. And then at the end, it'll give you some recommendations on how we recommend, what we can coach you, how we can coach you, what we would recommend to do with your guy, how to get on the right track. So that'll all happen at the end of the quiz. So hopefully you can get that quiz. If you haven't taken it already, go to befeminine.com. And that'll also lead you to our Magnetic Feminine 90-day challenge to use with a man that you want to have a great relationship with, and will help you to get that great relationship with them, guaranteed. As long as you apply it and you're coachable and you're willing to use what we're teaching you here, like, it will get the relationship you want with him. So hope that was helpful. Let's get some other questions here. So Kat said, Ice Cream Cat said, what if you tell your husband that you're ready to have kids and he says, I've changed my mind. I do not want to have any. And he says he doesn't want to discuss it anymore. Yeah, that's an unfortunate, tough situation, Kat. So the first thing you're going to want to do with this is share your feelings. I imagine you have. If you've been following us for a little while, you've probably shared your feelings to some extent. Hopefully you've done a decent job of that. And of course, getting coaching from us will help you make sure these conversations are really optimized for you, that you're saying it exactly in the right way, that you're respectful, because there's so many easy ways to fall into masculine communication and toxic communication that will push him away, that'll cause him to close up. But what I would say is you first want to share your feelings with him around that. How does that make you feel? So that's the question I'll ask you and ask everyone listening here. How does it make you feel when your man's not giving you what you want? What emotions do you feel? It could be the kid situation like Kat has, or it could be marriage, like Nicole said, or it could be something else. So how does it make you feel when he's not giving you what you want from his masculine? He's not providing. He's not giving. That's the masculine role, is to give and provide. So if he's not giving, he's not working to make you happy, then that's an issue, right? That's a problem that needs to be solved in the relationship. And so the first way you solve that is, because your job is not to solve the problem, actually. So your job is not to solve it, but to inspire him to solve the problem. Is the first thing you got to do is share openly and vulnerably from your feminine core, sharing your emotions in an honorable and respectful way that he can receive it and not feel criticized, blamed, judged, attacked, so that he's going to be more receptive to hearing it. So you share, how does that make you feel? So whatever emotion came up for you just now. So it's a sadness. Is it anger? Is it frustration? Is it anxiety? Is it fear? Is it pain? And you share that with him. May I share something with you about that? May I share how that makes me feel? Or may I share some thoughts I have about that? Sure. Or may I share a feeling I have about that? Sure. I feel sad. Why do you feel sad? Because you just told me that you don't want to have kids. You changed your mind. And it made me feel really sad because, I know we had these conversations before that we were going to have kids, and I'm telling myself a story, which helps make it a lot softer for him to hear this. One of the key techniques you can use. I'm telling myself a story that you don't ever want to have kids, and that you're not going to ever change your mind, and that basically we can't both be happy in this relationship. That I'm not going to be able to be happy in my relationship. That we're not going to be able to have a relationship that's good for both of us moving forward. And I don't know what to do. And then you put it on him as a problem. You don't know what to do. You're giving it to him. I don't know what to do. This is the problem. This is how I feel. I don't know what to do. Could you please help me? That's kind of the energy there. And you can actually say that. Could you help me with that? Could you please help me? Or you could say, may I ask what you think about that? May I get your thoughts on that? And now he has the opportunity to pick up that problem like a golden gem and say, like, I want to fix this. Like, I don't want you to feel sad. I don't want you to feel like this relationship doesn't work for you. Like, maybe we could let's watch some YouTube videos. Let's talk to some friends about it, like, who've gone through this issue. Like, I don't know. He may not have the answers. He may not know what to do. But the key is he looking for answers? Is he wanting to find answers? Is he looking for help for himself? Is he looking to get answers around his community, his friends, his family, books, videos, whatever? That's what you want to look for. Is he making the effort? Because if he's not, if he just shuts down, like you just said, like he doesn't want to, if you did that and he just says, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm done. This is too much. What's the sign there? The sign that he's saying to you is he doesn't care about your heart. He doesn't want to solve your problems. He doesn't want to give to you. And ultimately, he probably doesn't really care about the relationship. If that's ultimately what he's doing consistently, when you're vulnerable and you're using magnetic feminine communication, maybe you've done the magnetic feminine 90-day challenge with him, and he hasn't shifted, that's a tough situation where likely, ultimately, you're going to have to leave the relationship. That's most likely what's going to happen, unfortunately. If he's not showing care for your heart, if you're using what we're teaching you and he's not showing care for your heart, he's not shifting into his masculine. And this could be for a variety of reasons. It could be, I've said some of these before, because he's emotionally damaged in some way, he's mentally damaged in some way, that's preventing him from being in his healthy masculine, or he just does not have care for you. He just does not have care for you in his heart for whatever reason. Maybe some things happened. Maybe he changed in some ways. Who knows? Maybe the dynamic was depolarized, and he just doesn't care anymore. He doesn't care about the relationship. So he's literally, like, in a way telling you, like, I don't care about this relationship anymore. And if that's the case, you need to set a boundary with yourself, and you need to be a high value woman, and you need to be true to yourself and have high self-worth and be the queen. And you have to be willing to walk away. Ultimately, if a man is consistently not giving you what you need and what you want, for you to be a queen and to have self-worth, you have to be willing to walk away. That's the ultimate feminine power, is you have to. Otherwise, you'll be caught in a situation where you're unhappy, you're miserable, you're not supported, you're not cared for by the masculine, by a healthy masculine, and you're going to wither away. You are going to wither away, because that's what happens to a flower when the flower isn't getting the sunlight. When the flower isn't getting the sunlight of care, devotion, and being cherished by a masculine man, ultimately, long term, you're going to be like that flower that's out away from the sunlight. That's just feeling like it has so much potential, but it's just not being loved in the right way. It's not being cared for in the right way. So that's going to be, unfortunately, a situation, but hopefully that's not going to get to that point. And with what we're teaching you, it's going to be very unlikely. And especially if you get coaching support with us from that and take the free quiz and join some of our coaching memberships, which I highly recommend, we'll help you with that. And hopefully that's not going to be the case. And he's going to be shifting his behavior, becoming highly devotional to you and wanting to talk about it at least, and hopefully changing back to how he was, because that's not okay for someone to change their mind about something so important like that, however many months you were dating. So hopefully that's going to shift for you, and hope that was helpful, Kat. Let's see here. So let's get some other questions. All right. So Curly said, any tips on how to stop being so emotional? I think I've always had a hard time expressing something that is bothering me because I don't want to cry and get emotional. It's like the complete opposite questions in that statement, which is fine. So basically, the first question you said, how do I stop being so emotional? But the second one was that you're basically stopping yourself from being emotional. So I'm confused. So what I would recommend is, first off, to stop worrying about being so emotional. The emotions are what is going to draw him to you. The emotions are what he wants. Now, it's about showing your emotions in the right way that we teach. Because one of my favorite sayings here is, there are no bad emotions. There are only bad behaviors. There are no ugly emotions. There are only ugly behaviors. It's probably a better way to put it. So your emotions are beautiful. Your feelings are beautiful. That's what he wants. However, if you are using your feelings to try to get something from him, to try to control him and try to lead him in some way and get an outcome, then that's going to push him away. And that's going to cause him not to trust you in some ways, and to feel controlled, to feel manipulated. So that's why it's so important to use magnetic feminine communication in the way we teach, because it allows you a path where you can actually share your emotions with him in a way where he is glad and happy to receive those emotions, to feel those emotions, and to help with those emotions, good or bad emotions. There's not really any good or bad emotions, but we'll put arbitrary labels on it just to help you understand. He wants to feel your sadness. He wants to feel your anxiety. He wants to feel your anger, even, as long as it's not directed at him, as long as it's not telling him what to do and trying to control him. So if you're just simply sharing vulnerably and detached from the outcome, I feel anxious, or I feel sad, or I feel anger, now it's like a problem he can solve. It's not saying like, you made me feel angry, you made me feel sad, you got to fix it. Stop talking to me like that. Or not stop talking to me like that, but stop making me feel sad. Stop making me angry. Stop hurting me. That's like telling him what to do, right? That's leading him. Now he feels defensive, because whenever you're leading a man, he only has three options. He could either fight you, in other terms, argue, and say like, I'm not making you sad. You're making yourself feel sad, or I didn't do that. You can't blame me for that. I was doing everything that you told me to do. Or he's going to pull away, meaning that he's going to, oh no, before I get to that one, he's going to submit to you. So he's going to say, yes, dear, whatever you say, dear. And he's going, even though it feels bad for him, he's going to submit himself and submit to you, to your leadership. And because every man has a masculine core, that's not going to feel good to him on some level. And eventually he's going to become depressed and likely exit the relationship. Or number three is he's going to simply pull away and close off. And I don't want to deal with this, or like, take your emotions elsewhere, basically is what he's saying. I'm not responsible for your emotions. Like, I need some space. I need to get out. So that's what happens when you're not sharing your emotions in the right way. That's probably what you've been trained for, Curly, is in the past, you have shared your emotions in the wrong way, where men pulled away and they maybe hurt you, or they didn't like it. And now you're telling yourself, I need to stop being so emotional. I just need to stop sharing my emotions. I need to put the shield back on, the covering over myself. And I just need to be Miss Cool, too cool for school. Or Miss, I don't have any problems. Everything's good. I'm just a robot. Beep, 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 beep. and he's not going to feel attraction for that. Here's a question for everyone I want you to ponder. Is a man attracted to a robot? Now, maybe you might be saying, well, there's sex robots out there. Yeah, well, maybe, okay. Maybe a man will have sex with a robot. But is he going to feel deep feelings of love and devotion for a robot? I mean, some people would even argue some men who are very damaged may still do that. But do you want those men? Probably not. Do you want the kind of man that would fall in love with a sex robot? You probably don't want that kind of man in your life. So let's say a normal, healthy, masculine man, he doesn't want a robot, okay? He doesn't want to be with a robot. He wants a woman of flesh and blood with a full range of emotions who is in her feminine, who expresses herself, who has an open, vulnerable, feminine heart. Like, that's what a man wants, okay? He doesn't want a robot. He doesn't want you wearing a shield and covering yourself that he can't see or feel anything from you. But you have to do it in the right way. If you're not doing it in the right way, you're directing it, which is actually not true vulnerability. If you're actually directing it at a man saying, you're making me angry, or you're making me feel anxious, or you're making me feel sad, that's not true vulnerability, because that's you trying to control, rather than the true vulnerability, which will feel more uncomfortable for you, is just simply saying, like, I'm feeling sad, or I'm feeling anxiety and I don't know what to do. I'm feeling sad. I don't know what to do. Can you help me? May you please help me? Like, that's your true feminine. That's where you're inspiring him into his knight in shining armor to want to help, to be the hero. Like, I don't want you to feel sad. Let me come help you. Let me be here for you. So hopefully that was helpful. I'm going to go back and see if there's some good questions I missed, because there's so many coming in here. MC to go back to the cooking one. This means I get to sit back and watch him do all the cooking and serve me dinner. It could be, if he wants to do that, if he wants to give to you in that way, because when a masculine man is wanting to provide for you and he's activated in his devotion, he'll give to you in a variety of ways. He'll want to give to you through sex. He'll want to give to you through potentially cooking for you, potentially fixing your car, fixing your computer, helping you feel safe, asking you about your feelings, wanting to solve other issues or problems in the relationship or in your life. So he may serve you in different ways. Again, if he doesn't enjoy cooking, like I personally, I don't like cooking at all. I hate cooking. So me and my wife, and the funny thing is my wife doesn't like cooking either. Neither of us like cooking. So what do we do? Well, as the masculine, I still want to provide, right? I want to provide food in our household. So what do? I found a solution. So I went online and I Googled meal delivery services, and I found a meal delivery service in our area, which there's actually like 4 different companies. There's probably more. There's like 4 different companies in our area that do that. And I signed up with one of them. So now we get our meals delivered every week. They're already pre-cooked. All we have to do is throw them in the pan, which I don't mind that. I'll do that sometimes. My wife will do it sometimes. It's like you just throw it in the microwave. We don't use a microwave, but we throw it in the pan. It's easy, right? So, but that's the key, is I, as the masculine, took that on my role, my initiative, to solve the problem and get us, the family, provided with food, provided with meals. Neither of us have to cook. My wife doesn't cook. I'm not going to make her cook. I could ask her to cook. In the beginning of our relationship, I even did that a couple of times, but I just realized she doesn't like it. So I stopped asking her. She didn't want to anyways, because she was like complain about that. She didn't want to. She shared her feelings with me, and that made me feel like, okay, I don't need to ask her to cook. Like, I'm going to cook, or I'm going to find another solution. So that's what it looks like when a masculine man is providing. If you enjoy cooking, he may say like just please cook. Like I love it when you cook. It's amazing. This is great. And he's going to lead you to that. He's going to appreciate it. He's going to tell you, he's going to verbally say, like, this is good. I want you to do more of this, but still watch the balance. If you're giving more in the relationship than he is, then you want to talk about that. But if you enjoy cooking and want to do it, by all means do it. And if he enjoys cooking and wants to do it, that's the best. That would be even better. So hope that was helpful. Someone else said, I just knew something about cooking doesn't sit right with me. Yeah, exactly. It's like, you are taking care of the princess. You're actually providing for him, unless he's led you to do it. So that's the key. So Amy said, great explanation. Awesome. Glad that was helpful. So let's see. I'm going to get some other good questions on here. What about unconditional love? It does exist in life, so no more 50-50. Yeah, so to go back to the 50-50, there was a powerful concept I learned in a workshop that I did years ago, which is actually another reason why 50-50 is dangerous, because actually what you want in a relationship is 100-100. Instead of 50-50, you want 100-100, which means he is 100% being in his masculine in the relationship, and you are 100% being in your feminine in the relationship. So I'm going to use that moving forward. That's how I'm going to answer that question moving forward. No more 50-50, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100% healthy masculine, 100% healthy feminine. That's how you create the healthy polarized dynamic. You get to enjoy, receive. He gets to lead, feel respected, feel admired. And you're both able to connect to your true cores, your masculine core, his masculine core, your feminine core. And you're both going to be happy. He's going to be happy because he's going to be in his core, being able to lead, being able to give, being able to provide, being the hero, being seen as the hero, being appreciated for being the hero. That's where he gets his sense of purpose and meaning, that he can actually make somebody happy. He feels needed by a woman, which is a fundamental masculine drive, to feel needed and to feel a sense of purpose and meaning in his life, which is why men will go to war and die, basically knowing they'll go to battle, knowing that they're going to die because they feel a sense of purpose and they want to protect, and their hero is activated and they want to serve. And so that's how much this desire is within men to protect and provide and be the hero, is that they'll literally will die for it. That's how bad they want it. So you can actually give him that in your relationship, giving him the opportunity to help you, to serve you, to be your hero, and doing it through magnetic feminine polarity, magnetic feminine communication. So hope that was helpful. And so Tam said, so good. Glad you're liking this. Amy, I answered your question. Lauren said, what about asking advice? Yes, it's really great. So for one of the easiest ways you can start to increase the masculine feminine polarity in your relationship with a man and increase his feelings of desire, devotion, is to ask his advice on things. Ask for his advice on things. So you would ask him questions like, may I ask if you could help me with an issue I'm having with my car? May I ask if you can open this jar for me? May I ask if you could help me with understanding this problem I'm having with my taxes? May I ask you if you could help? So that's a great phrase just by itself. May I ask if you could help? You're like activating his knight in shining armor instinct. May I ask if you can help? Whatever the thing is you might need help with. So that's one easy way. With smaller things that works well. With bigger things, you might want to share your feelings first and then let him solve the problem. Because now he can feel your heart and he can feel the weight of the issue. And now he's going to be more activated. But with small things, you can just say, may I ask if you could help me carry the groceries? We had a client in our coaching group, our magnetic feminine coaching program. And she was asking about, she asked just a guy at the grocery store, may I ask if you could help me with my groceries? This was a guy that worked at the grocery store. But she asked him, may I ask if you could help me with my groceries? And he said, sure. And he went with her to the car. He unloaded the groceries for her. And he was like, smiling at her. And he really loved it because he got to be of service. He got to provide for her. And he felt received from his masculine. And it doesn't mean there had to be a romantic connection there, but he got to feel good as a man. He's able to protect and provide for this woman. And so there's many small ways you can ask for help in your daily life with the men around you, the men in your life, men in your family, friends, and guys you may be dating. Just ask them for advice on anything you're struggling with and do it in the right way. And that'll activate his hero instinct. So it's a very powerful tool. One of the many you can use and that we teach in magnetic feminine polarity. So let's see what other questions we have. Okay, I think I got some of the older ones. We're going to wrap this up pretty soon, but I'm going to do a rapid fire of some more questions as they come in because I enjoy answering some of these. Someone said, love your ideas. You've really helped me. Glad to hear it. Stardust said, a man will put a ring on the woman he truly wants when he finds her. Yes. Now the key there is the woman he truly wants. And that means becoming the woman he truly wants now. If you're single, if you haven't found a man yet, becoming that queen, that magnetic feminine, and being that even after you met him, continuing to be that high value magnetic feminine woman that he's going to want to put that ring on because he doesn't want to lose her from his life. It's exactly right. So then, okay, this is a good one. We've been getting this a lot actually lately. So Guru said, hi, my husband keeps expecting money to help him financially from my family. I helped him already considering he is broke, but he still says I didn't do as much as he asked for. How to deal with it? Oh man, this is so painful, and this is something we've been getting more recently, actually. Unfortunately, we're living in Western nations, especially. We're living in a world where women are actually making more money than men in many cases, and are more educated than men. And so men are feeling a lack of purpose and a lack of meaning in our modern age because they're not having as many opportunities to be the hero, protector, provider, because they're not being valued in so many different ways and not having those opportunities. However, like what so with this situation, this may or may not be the case because your man could also just be simply lazy. He can be weak. He could be feminine. He could be unmotivated. He could be broken in some ways, mentally, emotionally. He could be a drug addict. Who knows? There can be many reasons why a man isn't providing and isn't in his masculine and isn't even making money to support himself. There could be many reasons why a man is doing that. So the key is, what do you do if you're in a situation where your man needs your help, where your man is struggling, where he is maybe broken in some ways? You, first off, you have to stop the madness. So you have to stop being in the masculine and providing for him. You have to stop giving him money and stop being the piggy bank. That's the first thing. You have to stop the madness and stop being in your masculine yourself. And it may be painful. It may be hard because you're like, well, I care about him. I want him to be succeeding. I want him to be doing well. It's like, yeah, you may care about him, but that's not going to change him. You may give him money. That's not going to change him. You're going to be the endless piggy bank. You're making him dependent on you because here's the thing. The masculine grows through struggle. The masculine grows through challenge. He needs the struggle. He needs the challenge in order to change himself. If he has too many people around him giving him the things that he needs, it's giving him money, giving him food, giving him whatever, place to live, like he's not going to be able to be activated in his masculine core to actually provide that for himself and to become a strong man and become a provider and a protector. And being a provider and protector doesn't always mean financially. There's many ways he can still provide, but it doesn't sound like he's even doing any of that. He's not showing up. He's not solving problems for you. He's not making sure you're safe and taking care of issues in your life or around the house, or providing in other ways that make you feel good, that make you happy specifically. He's not doing that. So he's simply fully in his feminine or fully in his broken man mode. And you need to stop enabling that. And you need to stop giving him those provisions from yourself. And that's going to help inspire him. Now, the other thing, so first you have to stop the madness. Now, the next thing you have to move into is your magnetic feminine. You have to move into your magnetic feminine because with the law of polarity, opposite energies attract. It's a law of the universe. Opposite energies attract. So for you to be more, so if he's feminine, if he's a more feminine man, so let's say this is him, he's a more feminine man, and this is you up here, you're more masculine woman. You're used to being the provider, protector, hero yourself. For you to shift the dynamic with him, you just have to become more feminine than he is. And now through the law of polarity, his masculinity starts to be activated. And he'll start to move up in his masculinity, but you have to first off stop being the masculine and you have to start becoming more feminine. And that's what we'll teach you with magnetic feminine polarity and magnetic feminine communication, how to communicate with him in the right ways that activates his masculinity to be your protector, provider, hero. And I would highly recommend taking the Magnetic Feminine 90-day challenge. Again, you can get by clicking the links below this video or in our bio, depending on where you're watching this, to take our free quiz and get help with that and get on the path to doing the Magnetic Feminine 90-day challenge and getting coaching support with this. That's going to help you to really shift it with him in 90 days. Ideally, that's the plan. 90 days, we give it to shift him. And if he doesn't shift, unfortunately, you have to walk away. And it's maybe hard based on your culture, your religion, or whatever, wherever you're at, but you're going to have to be willing to walk away for your own self-worth, because otherwise you're going to be that flower that withers away. And I don't want that for you. And it's a sin. It's a sin, and it's a crime against humanity for you to be a beautiful feminine woman and a feminine flower that is suffering because of lack of care and lack of cherishment. Like, you have to be receiving, and you have to be receiving love and devotion and care from a man for you to be your full self and for you to be a worthy woman, for you to feel happy. The feminine desires to be cherished and adored. The masculine desires to be trusted and respected. So you have to trust and respect him enough to stop enabling him and to trust that he's going to step up and that he's going to be able to figure it out. He's going to be able to solve it. And if he doesn't, you have to walk away. You have to, whatever that means, whether it just means physical distance, whether that means you stop communicating with him until he changes, until he comes back around. But you have to protect yourself in some ways and get that distance so that he can shift and that he can actually give you what you want. So hope that was helpful. F said he's absolutely right. Glad you think so. Glad this is helping. And yeah, these are some powerful principles that you can start to use and will hopefully start shifting more of your dynamics with him, with a man that you're interested in, or if you're single, to attract a healthy, high quality, ambitious, masculine provider, protector, hero for you in your life. Because once you activate a man in this way, he will want to give to you. He will want to give to you in so many ways that it may shock you, and including financially, he'll want to give to you. You can attract a man who actually wants to take care of all your financial needs. What would that feel like to you? That you don't have to work. You can do it because you want to work, or because it's exciting to you, and you can just receive his devotion and care. So this is a great question. So H said, very interesting, but for me, this is a 1950s mentality. Actually, H, this isn't really a 1950s mentality, because the problem with the 1950s, I wasn't there. I wasn't alive then, so I don't know exactly what was going on then. From my understanding, in the 1950s and before, women were compliant. They weren't submissive. Women were compliant, which means that they were doing what the man asked because they felt that's what they needed to do, or that's what they had to do, but not because that's what they wanted to do. They didn't actually own their true feminine core. They were kind of, they were doing it even if they didn't enjoy it. So that's compliance. That's not what we're teaching you here. What we're teaching you here is like healthy feminine. If anything, we would call it healthy feminine submission, not compliance. Because again, compliance is when you're following a man's lead, like in a dance, but you don't want to. You don't enjoy it. And you're not speaking up. You're not sharing your feelings. And especially if you share your feelings, you're not doing it in the right way. And that would actually push a man away. And that was likely, very little of that was actually happening in the 1950s, because these tools didn't exist back then. So unfortunately, a lot of women were in situations where they were in marriages or relationships where they were just doing what they were, what was expected of them or what they were taught, but they weren't enjoying it. They weren't doing it from a place of feminine pleasure and being able to actually follow a man's leadership because she wants to, because she enjoys it, because the man is inspired into his healthy devotion, because she is being the queen, because she is sharing her feelings, and she's open and vulnerable in the right way that inspires him to be a healthy masculine king that's leading from a place of his healthy masculine, where he's actually making decisions and doing things, taking into account your full range of emotions, and that he's making you happy, that all of his actions are having an impact to make your life better. That's where he gets his sense of meaning. So that's the big difference. And that's what we're teaching you here. And with magnetic feminine polarity, it's very different than anything that has really been taught or experienced in human history, because these tools just haven't really existed, and the communication strategies and the ways of being, these understandings, these principles didn't exist back then. So unfortunately, there was a lot of compliance, and there was also a lot of unhealthy masculine leadership, which was him leading and more commanding without taking into account the woman's pleasure and the woman's enjoyment, like in a dance. It should be a healthy relationship is more like a dance rather than like a slave master relationship. You don't want a slave master relationship. You want a healthy dancing relationship where it's a healthy follow and a leadership and a follow. It's not a domination. It's not about control even. It's about healthy leadership and healthy following, for the enjoyment of both you and your partner, just like in sex as well. Healthy, consensual, pleasurable sex is where he's enjoying it, giving you pleasure, and you're enjoying it, receiving what he is giving you. That's a healthy relationship. That's a healthy dynamic. So I hope that was helpful. All right, let's see if I can answer one or two more questions here, and then we're wrapping it up. H said, very intelligent answer. Glad that was helpful. And yeah, let's see here if there was any other good ones I didn't catch. Okay, yep. I think that was it for tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and actually wrap this up. So hope this was helpful. Much love. Again, if you haven't yet, highly recommend taking our free magnetic feminine polarity quiz. It's completely free. You can get it in the link in the description of this video below, or in our comments, or in the bio, wherever you're watching this video. or you can go to befeminine.com. Oh, I'll put this on the screen, befeminine.com, because that's where this all starts. If you want to get the 90-day challenge, if you want to learn, if you want to have us do this for you and actually create the communication for you of exactly what to say to your guy to get him to shift his energy and show devotion and desire for you, then you want to take that quiz and you want to get coaching support. Ideally, also, you have the opportunity. You could also at some point join, if you want, one of our coaching memberships, our Magnetic Feminine coaching memberships, which are very affordable, and we can give you exactly what you need to do with your man. Let us do it for you. Let us lead and help you, because this is what we do professionally. We do it all every day, all days. I've been doing this work for over 13 years with men and now with women. So teaching men how to be in their healthy masculine, women to be in the healthy feminine. So go ahead and take that. Highly recommend. That's how you're going to shift the dynamics with him and in your romantic life permanently. Ideally, you've shifted dynamic permanently so you can have a healthy, happy, long-term relationship with a man who cares about you. He devotes himself to you. He wants to help. He wants to be your hero, protector, provider. And you can have that security and safety knowing that that's how he sees you and that's what he really wants with you. So you've inspired him into it. So much love. Hope this was helpful. Take care. And I'll touch you again in our other trainings at some point later on.